Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And welcome to a revamped Pulse with Peter B. As you can see from the opening credits, we have new opening credits. We have new graphics on the show. We're even going to have new social media commercials with a touch of an old video. It is 2022, and we are revamped and pumped about it, as you can hear in my voice. And there are some changes behind the scenes at the Pulse. We do want to welcome Holly, who is our new videographer, post-production editor, and director of the show. And we do want to thank Greg Schultz for his over 3 years of service to the Pulse with Peter B. Greg, we know you're watching at home. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know you left us in good hands with Holly. Speaking of a person that's not new, he's riding his high horse because he's just been absolutely, killing it with his picks at his Instagram handle, which you can follow him. We'll put it at the bottom of your screen right now. And that is our sports insider every week, and that is my man, Eric Cruz. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year, Pete. Happy New Year, same football year.
Same football year, I know. It's the same football year, but it's an additional week.
Yes.
Because we are talking about week 18. What? Yeah. Week 18 of the NFL season. Of course, they extended the league this year. And boy, they should have, because the playoff races are unbelievable this year. And we're going to get into our little rapid fire segment where you gave me the top 5 games you want to discuss, and they all have playoff implications.
Yes.
So let's get to it right away. An AFC North matchup. Pittsburgh heading to Baltimore. I feel like Baltimore needs, Jesus Christ to walk through our studio right now to make the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, they basically need to win. They need the Chargers to lose. They need the Colts to lose. And the Dolphins to lose, who have been eliminated already.
Doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. Who do you like? Big Ben's last game, possibly, of his career. Who do you like in that game?
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I remember early in the year, I texted you. I think it was a blowout game, and I said, I'm never picking Pittsburgh again. And here I am, week 18, playoffs on the line. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. Baltimore's coming in on a five-game losing streak, not really getting any good play, consistent play, I should say, from the quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson being hurt. And for me, Big Ben, if he's going to go out, I think he's going to go out on a W. He's a winning quarterback, Super Bowl quarterback. Fantastic career. If this is it for Big Ben, I do hope he goes out on a winning note. And I think he's going to give Pittsburgh at least a shot to get into the playoffs with a win against Baltimore. At Baltimore. A rivalry.
A rivalry. AFC North, smashing out football. I can't wait. All right, the next matchup is an AFC South matchup. Yep. And that's the Indianapolis Colts. Win your ring, Indianapolis. That's basically what they have to do. Yeah. Visiting the worst team in the National Football League, and I know the Lions have a worse record than them, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think everybody would pick Indianapolis, and I'm going to pick Indianapolis. But for me in this game, I want to see Indy just dominate. They're a playoff team. They've had an up and down year, and middle year was kind of up and down for them. Big wins under their belt. But for me, Indianapolis, they're going to go out there. They got to force turnovers. They're going to have to get the ball in Jonathan Taylor's hands, and just prove to not anybody else but themselves that they're a playoff team, and that when they go into the playoff season, that they're going to be ready to handle anything that comes to them. But I'm going to go with Indy, and I'm going to go with Indy big in this game.
He's going to go with Indy big. Why not? When you're facing Jacksonville, I don't even think they have a coach. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely insane. All right, moving on to the NFC South. A competitive NFC South division, I feel like, and that's the New Orleans Saints. Oh, Eric, let's talk a little bit about the New Orleans Saints. Yeah. We just have to. I feel like they're a cat with 9 lives. I mean, They have gone through adversity after adversity after adversity this year. Yeah. What are they on, the 4th quarterback or something?
They've had a rookie Ian Brooks start. Taysom Hill with the injuries, the COVID. Jameis Winston off to a fantastic
start. Don't forget
Trevor Siemian, they've had a quarterback house over there, and credit to Sean Payton. We all know how great he is. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach. But just a credit to that coaching staff and that defense. That New Orleans defense all year has been fantastic for them. Marshawn Lattimore, Cam Jordan, those guys, they show up, they play their hearts out regardless of what's happening on the offensive side of the ball. And to get right into this game against Atlanta, they're going to do the same thing. They just need San Fran to lose. They control their own destiny still, New Orleans.
Right, and we'll get to them, right?
Absolutely. Right, and and throughout the whole year, they've been relying on that defense. Taysom Hill had one of his better games last week as a quarterback. And against Atlanta, a team that really got nothing to play for but to be a spoiler, I don't think that they're gonna catch they're gonna catch the Saints with any kind of trickery or anything. I think New Orleans is gonna be ready to go.
But Atlanta has surprised team this year.
They have.
And I think this is going to be a little bit of a tougher matchup. Of course, like you said, New Orleans has to win and hope San Francisco loses.
Right.
And you're in. But you like New Orleans.
Yeah, I like New Orleans. I do.
All right. Moving on to the NFC West. Another division that is excellent. I mean, it really, really is. Besides Pete Carroll, who's an overrated coach. Almost as overrated as Joe Judge.
Oh, man.
I went there.
He's won a Super Bowl.
I went there. I absolutely went there. So, anyway, we head to the NFC West, and you mentioned them, the San Francisco 49ers. Very simple for them. Win, and you're in.
Yeah.
No matter what New Orleans does. They play the Los Angeles Rams, who's fighting for that division, of course, with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Who do you like in that game?
This is a tough matchup.
Very tough, because I think San Francisco's the hottest team in the league.
They're just so creative on offense, you know. And then the first time that these teams met, the Rams had just acquired Odell Beckham. They had just gotten Von Miller. And the 49ers went out there. And I remember watching this game, and they went out there and they put a stamp on that game. They were more physical than them. They ran at them. Jimmy G was able to get the ball down the field. But the Rams right now, they're getting healthy, and Odell Beckham is fitting right into that offense, catching touchdowns in consecutive games. But I don't ever like to choose against a team like San Fran. You know, they could control the tempo of the game. They could run the ball. You already know what Deebo Samuel does on the field. Defensively, with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, their stars, getting to the quarterback, being a solid front set, I think they could still hang with the Rams. As it doesn't matter how good the Rams are getting and how, I guess, how much they're building chemistry. To me, that doesn't matter against a team like San Francisco, because they control their own game,
right?
You know, and they want teams to play to their game. And I think that the Rams aren't as physical as the 49ers, and I'm going to pick the 49ers to win.
All right. I mean, look, and then that means that they're in, and anybody that plays the San Francisco 49ers
they're
in the
dangerous.
NFC, I think they're very dangerous.
They're very dangerous.
As a Dallas Cowboy diehard, I hope I don't play them.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, I know I'm going a little bit on a rant with the 49ers, but those are one of those teams that when you're going into the playoffs, you just don't want to play them.
I agree.
You know, they're not a soft team. They don't really rely on their quarterback to win them games. You know, so if they're healthy, they're going to be in every game. They could pull some out.
All right. Moving on to the AFC West now. And we're sticking with the LA theme, I guess.
Yeah.
We're going with the LA Chargers. This is the Sunday night football game. NBC loves those games where exactly. Well, they love Vegas too. I'm sure you're going to see Collinsworth at the casinos over there. I'm just kidding, Chris. I love you. Anyway, but they love those games where the teams win and in and then lose, you go home.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you have here. As you said, the Los Angeles Chargers visited the Las Vegas Raiders. Win, you're in. Lose, you're home. Who do you like?
But before I make my pick, I just want to give credit to the Las Vegas Raiders, simply because of what they went through.
Right.
Guys, listen, that team shouldn't even be where they're at right now. The position that they're in to get themselves in a playoff game at the end of the year, winning, you're in. Credit to them. Credit to that coaching staff stepping up after what happened with John Gruden. Credit to Derek Carr stepping up and defending his teammates with Henry Ruggs, you know, with that incident that happened. Like, they shouldn't be here, and they are. With that said, I really like Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. Their defense is young, but they're fast. They create turnovers. I really love what they do with Joey Bosa up front. They move him around. I love the Las Vegas Raiders, don't get me wrong, but I think the LA Chargers are going to just take this game. They're playing for a lot more. They have a lot. I feel like that team with Coach Stanley, they have a lot more riding on the line for them. You know what I mean? They should have been here. With the young quarterback, they should be here. And they've had an up and down season. So for them to take this opportunity and win the game and get into the playoffs, I'm going to go with the Chargers.
All right, the Chargers. And our rapid fire is done, just like that. But, Eric, you know, you have my word that you will be here for the next few weeks because the playoffs start, of course. And what better than just keep them talking about the Dallas Cowboys every week, hopefully. You know, hopefully all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm praying, you know, and I don't pray a lot. People don't know that. But I'm praying that they finally get back there and you're going to lead the way with us. Is that okay with you?
Hey, listen, can I just say something about that?
Yeah.
They're an interesting team, too. They're another team that can control their game. I like that. It's gonna be this is gonna be the best time of the year. Everybody loves the NFL.
Yeah, for the offense. Anyway, that was we don't have enough time for that. We just don't have enough time. Eric Cruz, our sports insider every week here on the Pulse. He will be here throughout the playoffs, so make sure you keep tuning in. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. All right, folks, when we come back, I'm going to switch outfits. We are heading to the Veterans Center of Hoboken, where I had the honor of interviewing former vets who served our country and discuss what they do at their wonderful, wonderful facility. You're not going to want to miss it. We will be right back. Today's Pulse with Peter B. show is sponsored by Please Vote No, January 25th, on the $241 million new Hoboken High School referendum. Stand up for our students. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. And I have the honor of being at the Veterans Center of Hoboken, located at 308 2nd Street, joined by very, very special guests today, and that is the commander here, John Carey, and our finance officer here, Mr. Mark Villamar. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Good, terrific. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Great to be here with you.
Great. It's an honor to be sitting next to you. And what a facility this is. This is my first time here, if you guys can believe it. And it is just remarkable. I keep using that word. I'm probably going to use it several times to where you're going to be tired of hearing me say it. But why don't we talk about the genesis first of homeless veteran housing in the city of Hoboken? Before this was built, there was none. Zero, correct, John? And now it's up to 6 apartments.
Correct. As far as addressing the homeless veterans issue, there was no homeless veterans homes in the state of New Jersey by the American Legion. Actually, we were the first.
Wow.
You know, so we've developed this over a 2-year period. We're now in the process of building a bigger, which we're now referring to as the Veterans Center of Hoboken. It will have 18 new units for our homeless veterans, and we're very excited about it, you know.
Yeah.
The original, or the genesis of this project was the event that occurred in 2012, Superstorm Sandy. It destroyed our previous post, which was basically a 1-story garage, not very interesting, had no housing for anybody. Subsequent to that, we made an agreement with the city of Hoboken to take over a parking lot, part of the parking lot that's to the east of us, and expand that to create this new storm resilient post that has facilities for veterans to socialize and 6 apartments above us. We always knew we were going to expand. We couldn't get the HUD vouchers in order to do so initially, but we built this section knowing that we were going to combine it with another section that we had the groundbreaking for recently. So that was basically the genesis for it, and we're going to have not just a place for 24 veterans to live, but we're also going to have a facility that will be large enough to allow the Veterans Administration to send consultants to help all these individuals with their challenges. I mean, they're homeless for a reason, and mostly because of what happened to them in the military. And the VA will send consultants for dealing with substance abuse, job training, medical issues, psychiatric issues, anything that they can do, we'll have a place for them to do it. There'll be meeting rooms and all.
So Mark, you would know this, I feel, better than anybody else. Real estate in Hoboken is expensive. And I mean, like you said, you were completely wiped out by Superstorm Sandy, and people stepped up to the plate to build this remarkable, there's the word again, facility. And you're going to be building a facility next door now with 18 more units, as you said. How do you do this in a city where every square foot of property is so expensive. How?
It's a good question, Peter. The answer is that we were lucky enough to be located immediately adjacent to a city's parking lot, an open air parking lot that the city was renting to maybe a dozen people. And they recognized the need to have a new post, and a new post required a building that would comply with all the codes that exist today. Couldn't fit it in the little space we had. So the city council and Mayor Zimmer at the time gave us what is referred to as an easement, a perpetual easement,
Excellent. Yeah.
so that we can keep this, as long as we're using it for homeless veterans and for the American Legion Post, we have access to this property. And as you say, land is very expensive. This is a very prime area of Hoboken.
Without a doubt.
And we have apartments that probably will go for 5 times the amount that we're collecting from HUD if there was market rate, but that's not our mission. Our mission is and the mission of most of the elected officials in Hudson County and the state of New Jersey, to end homelessness of veterans in New Jersey. And we've become the template, not just for New Jersey, but throughout the country. The American Legion commander of the United States has visited us and is looking with his staff to see what we've accomplished.
Wow.
What John accomplished. That was John's vision for this project that we've been working on.
And John, just out of curiosity here, you have 6 units here, you're building another 18, that's 24. See, I'm usually not that good at math. Talk to me how a homeless veteran can possibly apply to live in one of these units.
Well, the first thing, he has to be homeless.
Right.
He can't be living in the Y. He has to be literally homeless on the street.
And then how do you, what's your outreach to them? Because they don't have any means of communication to find out that there might be housing available to them.
Well, the county has a program
Gotcha.
that they have this unit that strictly looks for homeless veterans. And every January, I forget the date, in January they go around and literally count the veterans that are on the street.
Wow.
And that's how we got most of the veterans that, in fact, we have here in the and the county was very good to us in the first phase. They gave us $800,000.
God bless.
And we're hoping they're going to be good in this second phase.
Yeah, and Mark, you had the groundbreaking for the extended
Expansion.
The expansion, I like to call it, the Veterans Center of Hoboken. When is construction going to start next door?
Next month,
So
sometime in January, we should be clearing out the parking lot from whatever obstructions are there, and then start driving piles, and then you'll see a building coming out.
That's fantastic. And you're probably looking at a year or 2 project, or
It's about 18 months from start to finish.
I was close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right in between. All right, well, there's plenty of viewers at home. People actually do watch us, if you guys can believe it, at home. And they might be watching this and they might be saying, wow, this is just such a wonderful organization, a remarkable organization. What can people do to help? Do you guys have a website that's up where people can donate? Is there anything specific that you want to tell the audience at home on what they can do to get involved in the Veterans Center of Hoboken? I guess we'll start with John. And then
Well, since you're starting with me, yes, we have a website. It's HobokenLegion.org/give. And quite honestly, the $25 here and there adds up to serious money. So any little amounts of money, we're certainly welcome and looking forward to receiving. So as I said before, it's HobokenLegion.org/give.
there you go. Very easy. Mark?
We also take larger amounts, by the way.
That's true. We prefer larger
And
amounts.
the other thing, frankly, Peter, is that if there are veterans that listen to this and are not members of the Legion, they should consider joining our post, because it's a very satisfying feeling to be working with people who sacrificed and made some extreme efforts to create the kind of country we have now. And you get a lot of personal satisfaction out of helping veterans. We recognize that there, but for the grace of God, we could have been the need of these apartments as opposed to being the ones providing them. You know, John and I are both Vietnam veterans. We've been to war. We know what war does to people, and that is why some of these men and women are homeless.
Well, thank you so much to you both for your service. And, John mentioned something, because we have a few seconds here, regarding the Sons
The Sons of the American Legion.
Of the American Legion. So if you're at home and you're a son
or
a
nephew
or
grandson, you can absolutely join our organization.
Exactly. The fee would just be a little bit more, but it's worth it, because this is, and I'm going to use a very young term here, a really cool spot to come and sit at the bar, watch the game, and hear some unbelievable stories from our heroes here. So
one other thing
please,
before we
yeah,
sign off,
absolutely.
and that is, even if you're not one of these individuals that you mentioned, you can join the American Legion Auxiliary. Anybody can join that, and that will be also serving veterans that have served the country.
Exactly, and all of that information is on your website. So, well, Mark Villamar, John Carey, thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm honored to be here. Thank you again for your service. And folks, you know their website. Visit, donate, and we will be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there.
Welcome back to The Pulse. I'm your host with the most, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, sitting in for Peter, I don't even remember his name, Biancamano. With me today is Maxwell Feinstein, and we're here. I'm so glad you could join us to talk about what happened in the Chamberg Place building. For viewers that may not know what happened recently, would you care to enlighten everybody?
Thank you for having me, Josh. So, for what happened, the morning of the 20th of December, there was an explosive activity at 38 Jackson, or the Chamberg building in southwest Hoboken. That led to a 3-alarm fire, which was fought through the night. Many businesses, over 70 of them, were displaced, and this took the lives of 2 individuals.
Wow, that's a tragedy. And do you have a business there? What's your connection to the building?
I run a recording studio called Silver Horse Sound, and I have used that building as a creative space on the Harrison Street side for nearly a decade.
A lot of people know that building. Obviously, the most sad part of the tragedy is I believe it was 2 people, correct,
yes,
that lost their lives, and I know everyone, their hearts go out to the family members. But a lot of people know that building, not just for the business that he mentioned, but the CrossFit gym, and also the 2 art galleries, the Barsky Gallery and
the Paul Vincent Gallery.
Yes, wonderful art. So, I mean, how have business owners in the community been affected?
Considerably. That CrossFit was a very popular gym. They seem to be doing well in terms of relocating their clients. The fitness community at large seems to be really pulling through for them, which is lovely. The businesses in that building really did vary from, of course, gyms and pole dancing areas to cryotherapy and furniture makers. It's been a very strange kind of feeling. As of right now, it is officially a federal investigation. It is a federal arson investigation. I believe the feds touched ground on it yesterday, and we are waiting to find out the cause of the fire.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the building actually was on fire on 2 different days, correct?
Depending on who you ask, 3.
Really?
The building caught fire a second time from the same location, essentially, Wednesday morning or Tuesday night. It was sort of smoldering. I don't know that we thought a whole lot of it. I can't exactly say why. I'm not a fire scientist. I'm not a firefighter, but according to a few of my friends who are firefighters, that can happen. And it began smoking again on Sunday, but it was pretty quickly doused, and it didn't spark up again to my knowledge. But that was the entirety of the week of Christmas, essentially. We were on surveillance of the place to make sure it didn't go up in flames again.
Oh my God, it's absolutely horrible. So how has the community responded, trying to help the business and the community that was surrounding the building?
Well, the city of Hoboken has reopened its COVID relief fund with a specific bend towards those displaced in the Chambord fire. There have been numerous GoFundMes done by the businesses in that building, the galleries, the CrossFit, of course. There's an aggregate of them on the Hoboken Girl website. We have one ourselves. But if you're looking to get a tax deduction, I believe if you donate to the Hoboken COVID Relief Fund or the Business Relief Fund, the name of it escapes me right now, that may count towards a tax deduction because that will be available to us as displaced businesses in this fire.
And we'll put those up at the screen so people can type that in on your computer or your smart telephone if you want to help out the people, businesses in the community. I was in the Chambord building that was devastated by this fire and a half. It took 2 lives and destroyed so many businesses. So what was it like when you were down there, when you went to go check out the place?
I can't believe in any world that I'd be the only person who woke up to that. Like, my business partner and best friend called me to wake me up out of a dead sleep to say the building was on fire. And it was very surreal because we didn't know where we stood in this. We didn't know exactly how ridiculous the damage was. The Jackson side of the street is completely blasted out. The Harrison side has sustained some damage, but not a significant amount comparably. More, it seems, from the water, but again, not a fire scientist. It was just very surreal, especially because we couldn't go in and survey our equipment, or we didn't really... When you're in the middle of shock, you don't really have much to go on other than this sort of purgatorial feeling while you wait for further information to come out.
It's an absolute tragedy. And I know that the community and all of Hoboken feels for both the family members of the people that passed away and for the businesses there. What would be your message to the people of Hoboken and about the fire and about the businesses and lives that were lost?
Hoboken is a very dense city. It is very easy to sometimes discount the number of businesses that are on top of each other, the number of small businesses that are operating out of the factories in this town, which factories still remain, of course. I would say to keep your eyes open for those who are having a hard time, and if you can, support your local businesses, those who are still in business, those who need your help in the displacement. I would greatly encourage that you do.
I think that's a very solid, positive message. I think people do need to come together and really support. I mean, this is absolute tragedy that may have been, it's being investigated potentially as an arson. So, I mean, this is possibly the bad acts of a malactor that wanted to harm the Hoboken community. So I think everybody should really be, up in arms and should really rally to the businesses. And I hope in the community that was affected by this, and I really hope that people do so.
I hope so as well. It is my hope, not only as a business owner, but as a human being, that we find out an answer as to why this happened, if only for closure, if not for justice, for the individuals who lost their lives.
Amen to that. Amen. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, when we had you in the past, it was definitely on, it was on hemophilia, but it was still on a happier note, and I hope we have you again on a happier note in the future. Tune in next week for everything you need to know with The Pulse with Peter B.